All right, we're in the Mirage Cup, 9-hole cup. We're in the qualifying round. We're in Tuesday's qualifying round. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go play them, and we'll see what happens, and then see what happens. So let's just go. Let's just go look at them. Play them one hole at a time. The Oasis. And first of all, let me turn my grid on. Let me get my grid going. Get the old test pattern. Houston. All right, I know exactly what I'm doing here. I tried some shots yesterday, and I tried to get out here where I brought out bigger balls and trying to just blast through this. Now, if you've got a big tailwind where you can pick up some extra distance down here, you might be able to get something with lots of topspin, an upper developed apocalypse, an extra mile, really high level, max topspin, to get over, to bleed through this, to try and hit this fairway. That's the goal. And I couldn't get it done. I got stuck out here in the rough and had to do the rough bump. But I was working this rough bump, and where I was at with, I believe, a 5-power ball, here was like max rough iron, and so here was mid, so I was kind of like in the in between here. So I was doing just a full pull of 2 per ring, even though I was at this level and was able to catch the fairway. When I made an adjustment here and I moved it down, I think I moved it to 2.5. I definitely overpulled it. But I'm going to do a max overpower hook here, because with the max overpower hook, I was actually able to get through this gap and bled out and was right in this area and had a short iron into the cup. And so with a 5-power ball and an EM, was it 9? Here's dead center. I was my orange ring off on this transitional surface when it was fully extended. And we did not have a favorable wind. We had a wind that was blowing like this. And it was a 4-7 wind, I believe, and I did a 5-5 pull, so I moved it about 20% and was able to get through that gap on a perfect shot. So we'll see if we can replicate that or even get close up there. But even if we end up in the rough or the sand, that's not a bad shot from there. If you know what your numbers are for your rough and sand wedge so let's see if we can get it done. We're just going to go out there, and I'm going to use, hopefully they'll have some power 5 balls, because this available here pretty soon, because I have very limited amount of those. Not that I try too hard to get them. Here we go. All right, let's see if we can get over to the other side. Let's see what the wind's like. Hopefully the wind today is similar to what it was yesterday. It'll be different. Like if we get a big tailwind here, you think about how, and this wind right here is, we'll have to see what this is going to do. Okay, so I was orange ring off. Max topspin, max. I'm going to take the wind. I'm going to take the wind out. We're doing a max overpower hook. And I got almost all of it. You can tell because I came in way out on the outside there. Can I get through? There we go. There we go. Somewhere out in that area we can work that shot. I'll have to go back and watch that. Now here's where I went back and watched the video on it, and I think what I need to do is my normal number plus 10% to the cup. Let me get my trusty dusty calculator out here. Hey, calculator. Let's see what our wind is, and I'm going to do a 10% adjustment at my mid club. So 10% times the wind. Let's see what my opponent gets done. That's not a bad spot. They're going towards the side. You can see how short they were. That's about where I was ending up yesterday, trying to shoot it just straight out there without doing the hook. All right, so there's Max. I'm way the hell up there. There's Max. So I'm at mid club. I'm gonna put a little bit of backspin on it just so I have a little control over the tip. Four point nine equals divided by 1.9 is 2.83 rings. There's 283. Let's hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. In the hole. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. Albatross. Getting the Albie. I will go back and watch this video and whatever I did right there. I was doing that from memory. I don't have any notes on it. I had a hole-in-one on hole number 3 yesterday. Maybe I'll get lucky again. To let my dogs in the house. See if my opponent can get it in. So on my Kingfisher there, I did a mid adjustment, which is 1.9 plus 10% wind. And in Golf Clash Notebook, I think it has mid at 1.6, and that probably would have been about, you could do the math and see if that would be the right move without doing the 10% and just following Golf Clash Notebooks. All right, there we go. Let's continue. Let's see. Hole number 2. Let's go look at hole number 2 and see what it is. I think that in this course, this is a par 4. Now, I'm exploring the deal, and I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I took it. I'll go back and watch the video before I play the hole. So I came out into this area. So I did remember, I was talking about, you got a shot out here. This is where you're going to see most people hit, and they're going to have a shot coming in. You want to kind of stay away from this and bring the ball back around. So a ball that's got side spin works better. And this is definitely a wood shot. And from out here, if you do your arc and you come out in the arc, there is a, depending on the ball that you bring, you could find yourself in wood out here as well, as far as distance to the cup. But I think out here where I was at yesterday, I was in long iron, and I was able to, I probably could have done the rough bump, but I'd almost taken myself out of the rough bump, and I had a shot coming straight in. And I believe that yesterday, I'll go back and watch the video, but I think I took that shot several times, and I need to add on a little bit of wind to the cup. But I'm going to try this shot out here. But I remembered yesterday that there is another shot. There's 2 other shots. You can try and get from here to get over, but this is a very difficult terrain at the end of a run. And so it's always, if you get in trouble out here, you can make it on and recover. And if you end up in the fairway, you got a serious shot. But you can also get a serious shot just by landing on this island. You can either rough bump to bleed out on the island or try and get to the front. But if you can get up into this area up here with your ball where you can use a club that's got backspin, you may be able to just backspin it, and keep it on this pad way up at the front. And you got a great tee rough bump from that spot. And I did that on the last tournament. That's the shot that I took. But I'm going to explore this entire tournament, just to work it out and see if there actually is a shot up there. Because I think distance-wise, you're more, if you can get up into that spot, you're more on the same arc as you are up here, and so you're in long iron. This is the shot that you would take where you don't do the rough bump, and this is the shot that you take when you want to do the rough bump. I think in upper divisions, this is definitely the better way to go. Because if you can get on that island out there, you don't have any secondary wind effect. You can clip that rough, and you're on trajectory. Whereas out here, if you're in the lower divisions, you can get away with it on the wind. And it gives you more flexibility, because this tee shot right here is awesome when the wind's blowing side to side. But you really have to know what your wind numbers are when the wind's blowing due headwind or due tailwind, because it can throw you off that sand. Any other angle really can throw you off the sand. So you really have to know what your wind adjustments are. And you may have to chase them. So like if it's up here, you may have to do a 20% or a 30%. And then as it goes down the scale towards the center, you don't have to add on as much. And then it may work the same way on the other side. So you'll have to work that out. If you want to, so I'm going to explore this because I don't have to chase the wind as much. I still have plenty of room out here to maneuver for the wind, and I can just try and set the shot up. So that's what I'm going to do. And then let me go back and watch the video real quick. Hold on. Hold on. All right, hold on. I want to play. I am ready. That only took like 7 hours to get from one hole to the next. What were you thinking? I wanted to go back and look at that hole because I made a game plan on this because I'm switching up. Like I've played to this side several times, but I've never actually dedicated myself to like trying to get myself in the best spot on it. So I'm going to play this shot and see how it works out. I really think your best shot is to get on that island out here and doing that rough bump. If the wind's blowing right, like that should be you should have that in your bag. So I was at 4, I'm going to do a 5. And I want to get myself a couple rings off on the right hand side. I'm going to make a full wind adjustment, and I'm going to count it at 2 per ring. So I'm just going to make a 2 ring adjustment, and that puts me about 3/4 of a ring into power. So I'm going to lean a little to the left, and I'm going to put a little bit of power on it. Not enough to make the needle go any faster, but enough to shake so you know. See if I can gain a little bit of distance to the cup. And we'll know based off my red line, so I was at 366 right there. We'll know based on the red line whether I got a little bit more around that corner. And this wind's going to be absolutely in our face when we're going to the cup. So I think the deal is if I get as far as the adjustment goes, it's going to be to our benefit as long as we can get our speed right. I have to go back and see how they set that up because that was like way in the hell off. So there's my red line. So I picked up quite a bit of space. Three and max. So it's 1.1 times 3.1 equals 3.43 rings. 3.41. And there's 3, 2.5, 4.1 exactly. Oh, and I hit it great. I looked away right at the last second. Great to the right. And I went, ooh, great to the left. Still got pushed off. And it may have been pushed off. You can't tell on a hole like this because of the run going up there unless you hit it perfect. Because you can see, go back and rewind that video, and you can see on that first bounce, it makes a weird jump on that first bounce to get around because side spin doesn't take effect until the ball hits the very first time. And so the ball hit the very first time, and then the side spin took effect. So it moved the ball. It made a big jump. And so where you're at on that first spot before that side spin takes effect, it makes a huge difference in where you end up. So it's very easy to end up on the wrong side of the cup. So I should have been on the right-hand side of the cup, and I was on the left. And that kind of shot right there, it's very easy to get that result. So don't make any determinations on that hole unless you hit it perfect. Now, if you're doing the rough bump, you're going to get immediate results on your win because if you get the wind right, And this shot that my opponent's doing is right here. What my last opponent should have did in the video. They should have moved it over. If you don't get the perfect Albie shot you're looking for, you want to, or eagle shot, get up there and make sure you secure your birdie. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That is bad. Hole number 3. All right, this par 3 this is the one yesterday. I got a hole in one on. Let's see if I can do that again. All right, and I did a straight up adjustment. I did just a straight up 1.0 per ring. And it seemed I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. And I brought a katana. Let's get a katana in the bag. And I can pick a Grizzly Works. I think I got club card trading. Let's see if I get anything good today. Come on. One of the 5. Let's see it. Those are not one of the 5. Storm for next time. All right. Off we roll. Getting a hole in one. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Ride daddy. All right, I go first. Let's just do 3.8 miles. Okay. Get down here where I can see what the hell's going on. I'm going to go to where the tree hits it, and then I'm going to come past that just a little. All right, 3.8. I'm going to do this again. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. There's 3.8. Hit it one ring great to the right. And this is definitely one of those holes where it could hit, and if you hit to the right, it can bounce to the left. It hits on that hill face, and it's going around a corner. Arrgh. I'll post the shot. I had to edit that hole actually, because I was talking just a stream when we got to a point, and I was talking about the wind ring method. So I can't remember the name of the guy that came up with the wind ring method, but he had shot a video, and at that time Tommy was pretty much the only one that was doing any content for Golf Clash, and Tommy hosted his video and talked about it beforehand and was like the host, and then ran that kid's video and then talked about it at the end. And Tommy was not a fan of the wind ring method. He didn't think that that's how it should go, and he didn't use it. And so Tommy came back not too long after that, because enough people were asking him, and shot a video explaining how he figured out the rings. And so on the drive shots, it's pretty simple. If you keep yourself in the middle of the fairway and you attempt to address the wind, and you think of your drive shot as nothing more than a delivery system, then you're in a spot the same every time. And so you're really only working on the second shot. So when you come into the green, he would do what I do on max overpower hook shots. He would set up his rings, and he would say, okay, I'm going to start 2 rings off, or a half a ring off of the rough. And if I put on 1.5 backspin, 2 right hand side spin, where my ball guide's gonna be is I'm gonna be a half a ring off the rough on the right hand side. And if I'm in that spot and I hit it perfect, it goes in the hole. You know, but if I have a 2-wind, I have to move it over. And he was thinking of the rings. He was using the rings as his measurement, but he wasn't using the numbers from the wind ring method, but he was just using whatever. But at some point it dawned on Tommy that, and I would imagine what happened was it dawned on Tommy that this is exactly the same thing that you're doing. Only you understand how the ring thing works. And I learned something from that video because it taught me how the ring stuff worked. That's why if you watch my stuff, I'm always 2 rings off of transitional surfaces. And whenever I'm doing curl, I try and be a little bit more. Especially if I'm doing max curl, I always want to be at least 2.5 to 3, if not more, depending on the club. I want to give myself more room on the side that I'm curling, so that, and I learned that from watching that video. But that's why I didn't post the hole-in-one yesterday. And then I patched it, and it was a little choppy. I edited it out. It ended abruptly is what happened. So that's why. But I'll load it so you can see what a hole-in-one looks like. Once again, are you going to take 5 hours to shoot a damn hole, dude? Hole number 4. What is hole number 4? Hey, we're just having fun, and we're playing a qualification round. So, and this is how far I made it yesterday. All right. I have no idea what to take out here, but I want to get as far down into this area as I can, and I really want to I'm going to bring a Titan, and I really want to bring a Guardian, because if I can get up into that area, I think it takes, I'm not sure what it takes to get up onto the green. If I can do the rough, I'm pretty sure I can do the rough bump with a Guardian, so I'm going to take a Guardian. Which bag do I got a Guardian? Let's put a Guardian in this bag. And I have this bag set up if I want to play it. I'm going to bring a Titan. The king of balls. Now let's think. I want to make sure that on the second shot I have plenty of room, and I may have too much room. I may actually be in the club below it. And we'll go out there and just play it. The other side of the screen, when you hit this ball over, it has a tendency to scoot. And it's scary as hell, but it doesn't roll off as often as you think it would, but you can roll it off the front. And you can make it from out there. So I'm going to ride this down as far as I can so that I'm 2 rings off. And it's going downhill. So I'm just going to put 4 and a titch to start off with and then see what that does. I'm going to do a full adjustment. It's 2.1 per ring. I'm going to do a ring and a half. So that puts me about a half a ring into power. So I'm going to rub up against the nubs. And I hit it 70 rings great to the left. Which means it had to go farther. It had to go farther, and you can see how it scoots out there. It had to go farther on the left hand side. You have to go out farther. The farther you go to the left, the longer you have to hit the shot. And so I was lucky that I just barely cleared on that second bounce. It should have clipped, and I would have ended up here at the top. And you can see about that scooting that I'm talking about, because the fairway's going down there, the hole all the way down to the bottom. I'm just going to take a straight up shot at it. We may be doing some kind of an adjustment. If there's a due headwind, I will pull just a little bit more. And it's not quite due, but Guardian. And I'm just going to lead it right to the cup. And I'm going to do, it's 1.1 per ring. And I didn't check to see where I was as far as min-max. So I'm at min. And it's 1.5 per ring. So I'm going to do a 2-ring pull. We'll just see with just a straight up adjustment if it what the deal is. Isn't it perfect? Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. That is what I'm talking about. Perfect execution. Now playing off this island is not a bad thing, and you can do a second bounce rough bump. And if you got a ball with enough side spin, you might be able to get a good shot at it. But from where they're at, they'll have to put curl on it. And anytime you use the word curl, it's not that you can't make it, it's just inconsistent. That's a good recovery. Nice shot. Nice shot, man. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, hold number 4. Maybe it was worth the wait. That hole, we've had a couple good holes here. Hole number 4. Or hole number 5, excuse me. Hole number 5, the fish hole. All right, I cannot remember. I need to go back and watch one of my old videos on this hole. But it seemed like we were at Mid Club, and it was a 40% wind adjustment. And I'm in my Guardian, so it's 1.3. It's 1.1. No, I think it's just a 1.1. I was at max. I was playing a max number, 1.1 per ring, with a 40% wind adjustment, 1.4 times whatever the wind is. And I cannot remember what ball we were using. So I'm going to start off with a katana and see what the... I think we could use a low wind ball here. So I'm going to start with a 2 power ball. I'm going to start off with a Quasar, and we'll see what the deal is. And I definitely need a Guardian on this one as well. Now this hole is hard to set up to get the right angle. And you need to know how much backspin. So like I may epic fail on this hole just because of the setup. We want to get the setup right, so you remember how much backspin. It seems like it's at least 6 backspin to get it to go to the cup. And it's a kind of a bitch to set it up. You need to be aware, it's one of those holes that you have to do backwards, and you have to set it up backwards, and then you have to find the best angle to adjust out the wind. You got to do headwind. And that's not the club to use, and you got to use backspin on this. I think that ball's going to go for a mile, but I could be wrong. Like it was close, but this is one of those holes that you do not want to go rolling way past the cup. That's a long putt on this hole. I mean, one of those putts that could be a max overpower putt. Four backspin, is that enough? Evidently it is. So it's times 2.6 equals divided by 1.1. 3.3 rings. There's 3, 2.5, 3. I hit this perfect, it's going in the hole. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. Get in. Get in. Oh. I slightly underpulled it. And that was with a 40% wind adjustment. Up against almost a due headwind. I mean, not quite, but like I may need to up it if I'm going up against that strong of a headwind. That's what I'm saying. Look at that putt. That's a max overpower overshot. And luckily they got it to go in the hole, but I don't want to take that shot. If anybody knows anything about my game, I'm not the best putter in the game. I have a firm belief that there's two ways that you can play this game. You can get really good at making long putts, or you can get really good at getting closer, so you don't have to take long putts. And I believe in the second way of looking at it. I mean, sometimes we miss and we're off, but like that shot back to the cup should be pretty damn short. All right. I expect to get a hole-in-one on that hole. That to me is I really like getting that hole, and we have a serious opportunity to get a hole-in-one there. All right. You know, we got the bounce shot coming over here. And on the other hole that's in this game, I'm exploring new territory as far as like going to a different side. So if we draw the line and we do the arc, you know, you'd really want to be up here by this line or in front of that line in order to have the same distance shot from here. And it's a big ass shot from over here. So it seems to me like if you're over on this side and you were a little short with your wood, you'd want to have a big wood and you'd have more maneuverability with a Guardian. I'm going to hit over here and see what it looks like. We'll just do it. I mean, it's qualification, but we'll just go out there and hit the deal. And I've got two options for clubs. I'm not going to get super aggressive. I'm going to try and stay in the fairway, but I got two options for clubs. And if I do use this one, I definitely want to use a Guardian. And it gives me a little more distance, and I don't think I'm going to be able to run out all the topspin. So it would probably be better with a 3-side spin ball, but I'm going to practice it with a Titan. Because if you can't get it done with a Titan, you can't get it done going against a pure side wind. Let's see which way the wind's actually, like what it looks like out on the course. Because it seems to me sometimes you look at that arrow and then you look out when you're on the course and it seems like it's quite a bit different. All right, we actually got a little bit of tailwind. Got a little bit of wind helping us out. No, even though I'm gonna lose a little bit of distance, let's switch to this bag right here. I'm gonna do 5. And a little. I'm going to move out 2 rings. I'm going to do a full adjustment. That's a 1.5 rings. Thinking of it around, it's 2.1. And then I'm going to put a little bit of curl on it to bring it back around to that fairway. Hitting it perfect. And see if we can walk it around the corner. And not overshoot it. Woo, close. I could put a little bit more curl on there and I would have walked around that corner and been away from that. So the solve to that problem is to move it over, like if you look at my grid lines, maybe all the way over to the next grid line, or if it was right at a grid line, move it a half, maybe 3/4. I had plenty of room because where I landed out here, I had plenty of room coming in over here. So you could probably set that up. And the best way to do that would be to set it up so that you could just do max curl. Because then you have your right going down towards the center and you'd work out how many rings off you need to be. So I was trying to be 2 rings off and you might need to be 3. If you do that bounce shot, I know for a fact that I played that so that I could get really consistent at it. And Guardian. I'd have to bring out a bigger ball if I wanted to get over to the other side or get more distance. And at this point right here, I'm right at the red line. I don't really think you have a shot at it. 3-3, it's 1.3 per ring, so I'm going to just move it 3 rings. I'm going to curl it to bring it back over towards the cup. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if I got the distance right. I was a little short and I needed to put a little teeny bit more curl on it. That club definitely blows coming in. If I brought a bigger ball where I could get up either onto this other fairway, or if I could get that bounce, get that, even just getting up to this other fairway would be big, because if I could get up that far, that means with my sniper I could have been exactly where I was at, and I would have had much better ball guide, and I could have walked it around that corner over there. The deal, and the thing is if you do that, if you bring out a 4-power ball and you use a sniper, this angle coming in at it, you're coming up the hill to it, so it's a really good read. You're not involving the downhill, because from this angle right here, you can very easily hit that green, and it rolls off really fast. Even from where they're at right there, unless they put a little bit of backspin on their shot to get it really tight, they're going to have a hard time if they're trying to run out topspin. And here you can see I have almost a straight shot. And look at how much that drops from up here at the top. When you look at the terrain, how much it drops from up here down to the cup, and then it drops again. And it's really easy to get washed off the backside and end up in this rough. Now let's see how they set this up. I would set this up in this situation by adding on more backspin and getting closer to the cup. I wouldn't want to chase my topspin down. And the more they move it to the left, the longer that tail's going to get. But if you put backspin on it right here, you can get closer to the hole. But you have to account for the wind. So the wind is going to affect that ball. And it came in, he put it right at the flagpole, and it came in on the right-hand side. So that's exactly what it should have did with that wind. All right, hole number 6. Hole number 7. Let's see what hole number 7 is. I can't even remember how well, or, oh man, I hate this hole. Of all the par 3s that are in the game that I do not like, this is one of the holes that I do not like. Let's see which way the wind's blowing, because I don't know which way I'm going to go at this hole. With that kind of wind right there, I'm going to do a rough bump. And I'm going to take a sniper. So I'm going to take my number 1 bag. I'm not sure what kind of ball I need to take, so I'm going to just take a katana, and we'll see where it puts my red line. I think I have to bring out a big ball in order to get to the rough, so I may have to bring out a power 3 ball. And I'm going to do a 10% wind adjustment times whatever the wind is, because I know damn good and well on this hole that we were doing some adjustment, and that rough bump is, there's different ways that you can play that rough bump. You can play it coming from the bottom to the top, or you can play it from the top to the bottom. Opponent's turn. Okay, they've got a sniper, they got a katana. Let's see what their red lines are. See if they. Now you can play from this side over here, and that might not be a bad play. I don't think that the rough bump is necessarily the way to play it. Hopefully my opponent's just trying to explore different ways to play. Once we play it one time, the whole thing about these par 3s or any of that is pick a pony. The deal is if that pony is kicking you off, you want to have a backup plan. So like think about ways to play these, because there might be like, hey, if you can actually hit perfect every time and you're in this spot on the rough, you can really go for hole-in-one. I'm right at the red line with a 2-power ball, so I'm going to bring out a 3-power ball just so that I'm working from the same spot, and it gives me a little bit of room on the red line. I'm going to try and go straight at it. So it's 2-2. It's 2.4 rings. There's 2-4. Let's see if I can hit it perfect. And I hit it great to the left. So you will need, I think that I would want to play that always with a power 3 ball so that I always have room on the red line so that if I get wind, I can always work it out. Because what you don't want to have to do on a par 3 is have to use any kind of overpower. You want to be able to get there as smoothly as possible. Repeatable. All right. In the hole. Arr. All right. I'm gonna go talk to a man about a horse and I'll be right back. All right, got something to drink. Talk to that man about the horse. We're on hole number 7. Hole number 8. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what hole number 8 is. Hole number 8. All right, we can go for eagle on this hole as well, and I'm pretty sure we were doing some kind of an adjustment here, but it seems like it was minute. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment the first time so that we can see where it's at, so that we know we have at least some basis for making a. And what I'm going to do is I'm hitting to this side. I don't care. I've been hitting to sides that I don't normally hit to, and looking at it from a different angle. But there is a beautiful shot out here. Do I want to continue the trend and actually show, like, see what we can really get from this side? Because we know what we can get from this side. We can get a killer freaking hornet shot for eagle. But, like, what can we get from this side? What's the best that we can get? I'll explore it, but I'm going to keep this shot in like that. That's going to be the shot I'm going to take. All right. I'm just going to go play it. I won't even pick a bag. And I didn't even look to see which way the wind was blowing. I'm like totally unprepared. Totally. All right, I go first. I was going to take a drink, but now I'm not. Like, look where my red line is. Let's see with this club I can get out there. I'm going to be right dead center of that. I'm going to do 2-7, so I'm going to do a 3-ring pool. I'm going to put max curl on it so I can see like where I end up hitting it perfect. So I'll be able to tell after this shot right here whether I need to go in or out in order to get max distance. So I could go out just a little and not clip that, and I could put another bar of topspin on it and try and get as far around that corner as possible. And I'll have a killer hornet shot from there. And the other way is to do exactly what my opponent's doing. Give themselves 2 rings of separation up here. Bring out a bigger ball so that you can start up here. And use side spin to work your way over to the shadow. Try not to do any overpower. Now they're going to let the wind walk for them. And the way that they set it up, I'm not sure they needed to put curl, but hitting it great to the right and adding that curl on won't hurt them. Because it looked like they were going to end up in a great spot. That's what it looked like. All right, there's Kingfish. I should be right at my transition. Oh shit. There's max. There's min. So there's mid. So I'm eking towards. I don't think I have enough topspin here. I barely have enough topspin. I'm about mid Kingfisher. Times 3.8 divided by 1.9. It's 2.2 rings. There's 225. Hitting it perfect. Let's see where it ends up. Pretty close. Didn't quite pull it enough. And if I'd have did 1-6 there instead of 2-2, instead of 1-9, that would have been 2-6, and that would have been pretty much on. So I may change my Kingfisher number to 1.6 instead of 1.9 and try that out. But I'm definitely liking it at max at the 1.1. My Kingfisher seems like I've been getting a lot of sinks with it. And it seems closer than what my Hornet is, even though my Hornet's maxed out now. My Hornet, I feel like, is ruined. And this is the thing about a Thorn, is that if you're doing backspin like that, it gives you great tail or ball guide, so you can see where it's going to come out at the very end. But it doesn't have, you can't get that same effect with topspin. And these backspin shots, they're awesome when they go in, and you're always that close. But it seems like you miss more than the people that are trying to run it up there and actually use some control on the ball. And I like backspin shots, don't get me wrong. I just don't do them as much as I used to. A lot of these holes were like problematic depending on where your clubs were. So on certain holes, like if you're having a real big problem on those holes, especially par threes, like you don't have the clubs and you're having problems on par threes, go out there with backspin clubs and stick it to the green. Get your birdie and go to the next hole. Make your money on par fours. Figure out that 1 or 2 par fives. All right, it's a draw. All right. I guess I have picked up a few. We will continue. Let's see, what have I picked up? Got an Albie. Picked up a Key Eagle. Have I missed anything so far? Seems like one of the par five. It seems like I picked up an Eagle here somewhere. I picked up that first par five. So we got one more par five to go. Let's see which one this one is. I can't remember these holes. All right. Oh, yeah, I love this hole. Oh, my gosh. Here we go. Of all of these, this is a newer Oasis hole. When Oasis first came out, I think there was only 5 holes in the set. And then they came out with 4 new holes to make it a full 9-hole, or it was only had 4 and they added 5, but it was one of those 2. And this is one of the holes that they added. And most people are going to play out to this area right here. And I don't know. I guess depending on what you bring out, you may be able to get over here and do a rough home. But you're not bouncing from here over to there. I don't think that's possible. Maybe it is. But you're just limping up. But normally people will lay up to this area, and then they've got a killer shot to go for eagle. Because most people will think of this hole as a birdie hole with an eagle opportunity, but we want to get an eagle every freaking time. And even though I don't think I've ever gotten an Albie on this, you do have an Albie shot. It's just like you have no idea where it's going to go. Wherever it ends up, it's hey, hooray for you, as long as it's on the green. But we're going to use this island. Now, how the hell am I going to get that done? I'm gonna try with a power 3 ball. I'm gonna bring a katana again. And if I need to, I may up this to one of these open balls. It gives me a little more side spin. And coming into the cup, it gives me a little bit. I think I'm just going to go out there with an open ball. I'm just going to use this ball because I don't have a lot of any other side spin balls other than that one. And I'm either going to use, let me switch up here. Let me think damn hard, because once again, if you fail on that fairway pad, you might be glad that you brought a Guardian. But if you're in the right spot, it may not give you enough top spin. I'm going to bring my Guardian. I'm going to bring this bag right here, or I'm going to bring that bag. One of those two. We'll see where my extra mile puts me. I like the fact that my extra mile has better ball guide, so I can see a little bit more about what's going on down there. Even though it doesn't seem like it's a lot on the thing, the 3.2 to 3.6, 3.6 is much, much better. Anytime you can get over the hump and you're seeing what the downward goes, that is good. That's why some of those clubs, when they're at 4.4 and the next level is at 4.7, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a push. It is huge. I go first. All right. The trick here is the drive. Now you can get up into this, you could rough bump it out. If I brought a power 5 ball, I could just rough bump it up there. I think with the way the wind's going, the wind's going to push me 2-2, so it's going to push me out here. Let's adjust for the wind. 2-4. I'm going to let the wind do its work, and I could, if I'm going up against the headwind, I would have to use a power 5 ball. And just try and hit it over there. Now you can bounce it over there. And I could put a little bit more topspin on, because I'm not going to have, I wanted to see if you get all the way to the top. If you might have, I think if I remember correctly, the last time we played this hole, there is a rough bump that you can do right to the cup. And then you have a real serious shot at Albie. Now you can start over here where my opponent's at, and you can start either on this fairway right here, make your adjustment and bounce over, and either try and do the rough bump or try and do what my opponent's doing, coming straight at it. You can do this shot right here, and with the rock, that's awesome. And that's with the power 1 ball. Very nice. So if you brought out a bigger power ball, it's going to help you, because that ball's not going to hurt you on the drive. It's going to hurt you on the second shot. You want to bring out the biggest ball that you can bring out for the second shot. Now, I don't know. It seemed to me that there was a shot that we could do where we could try and go through, but you can see you can get caught up in those trees. Pretty. There is a window where you can get through them, but you better hit it perfect, or it could be in the drink. Okay, and it's 1.1 per ring, so 3 rings or 4 rings would be 4-4. I'm going to move 4-4. Hitting it perfect. Come on, get through those trees. And then that was a pretty good shot at Albie. But that is one of those that if you don't hit it perfect, you could hit. There was a little teeny window in those trees, and I think if you hit it great to the left or the right, you're going to clip one of those trees. So that is like super risky. You can go at it from the other side. And if I would have got a little bit more forward distance, I might have been able to work myself so I was completely around the trees. So I could go around them instead of through them, but I'm not sure if you can get, if you may be able to, if you get all the way to the end out there, be able to work your way around the trees. But I still think you probably have to have a 4 side spin ball. And obviously that power 4 worked. So those 4-4-4 balls that are out there would be really good on this. You can go, if you don't get enough distance or you're not happy with that shot, you can easily get on the green on the right-hand side. Easily. And you have a shot at Albie, but it's a piss poor shot because you can't see where you're going. You're just throwing it up there. But it's going to end up on the green. It's pretty easy to get on the green from the right. If you go back and rewind the video and you're looking at that fairway pad that I'm hitting to, if you end up in the rough on the right or up in the front, you can still get on if you have a Nirvana. You could potentially get on with a Spitfire if you've got even a mid-level Spitfire where it's got its 120 distance. You could get on because that has tons of topspin. But the key there with all of those shots is bring out the biggest ball that you have in your inventory for this hole. I think a power 5 ball is probably a little much, but if the wind was blowing the right way and you wanted to get out there, power 5 ball is not bad. Power 5 ball worked better just about all the time because you could work the wind more accurately. And most people that do what my opponent does, there is a great shot from over there. They end up just like that, and they end up with a birdie. So if you can get an eagle on this hole every stinking time, go for the eagle. All right, that was my qualifying round in the Mirage 9-hole cup. Hell, that took forever. An hour and 2 minutes, and it started slow, but that's how it works. That's how it works. Me just rambling along, playing, and I'm taking notes. So I'll go back and watch this video. This is my MO, especially for those of you. I have to remind myself that there are players that watch my channel that haven't been playing for a long time, and if you're trying to learn how to play the game, it's really important to record your own video. And so you can go out there and watch around. And let's say one of the things, you could look at my videos and you could take notes and compare them to your notes, or at least look at the holes, or maybe it's a different way of looking at the holes. Maybe it's the same way, and compare them to your notes. But when you're out there playing around, film yourself so that you can go back and watch. And okay, on this hole right here, I didn't hit it perfect, and I really can't get a read unless I hit it perfect. And this shot right here, I hit perfect. And look at where your bounces were at and go, hey, I was too close on that second bounce. If I would have hit anything to the left, I would have ended up in trouble. So you could move it a little bit more to the right so that you're more successful on your drive, so you're in the right spot. And this course right here, this is, I mean, anybody who's played golf in the real world, this is one of those Hawaiian Island, this is one of those exotic golf courses that has all kinds of shit going on. And you can end up in the wrong spot very easily. And I can see right now that there's a lot of holes in here that a Guardian will work. So especially if you've got lower developed clubs, a Guardian's going to be a trusted friend in your bag. And because you can use that backspin to at least get up there and pick up the right score. And there's several holes that we can pick up shots on. Thanks for watching. Good luck in the tournament.